The important thing about sleep is that sleep is when your brain takes care of itself. Think about this. The moment you wake up, the doors and windows are open. Everything in the world is entering your conscious self, and most of your energy is just spent in creating that story. When I'm sleeping, the outside world is cut off. Now my brain has time to process it. All those neurons that had been activated, वो सब क्या करे, किधर जाए? So now they will form new connections, they'll form new ideas, and then you might wake up with thoughts that you've not had before. And another thing is there is a cleanup process that happens. So there is something called as the glymphatic system, which is essentially the garbage removal system of the brain that is active in sleep.
Your brain shits in sleep.
And if you don't sleep, you're basically constipated. And that kind of accumulates. So there is a toxin accumulation that happens over many years, which is one of the things that they say leads to Alzheimer's.
Wow.
So it's very, very important that you get good sleep.
I'm tripping out a little bit on you, dude. I'm really enjoying this podcast. For real. Like, I knew it'll go down this path, but you're answering so many of the things I realized in my mid-20s, late 20s, things that I'd battled with in my early 20s, in my teenage. And I'm so glad that teenagers of today can just get access to this information, bro.
You know what? I don't think information is the problem anymore. I think it is about developing the state of mind where all that information can stick. That is the challenge today. Retention, appreciation of what you have. 500 years ago, we were living in an age of, the problem was access to information. But now there is an excess of information available. So information is no longer the problem. The problem is what do we do with all this information? So then you might equate something very useful with something not useful and say, dono YouTube pe hai. Kya hi farak padta hai?
100%. We have a common friend, my brother Raj Shamani. So I'm sure you've been on his podcast as well, right? Raj Shamani and myself, around the beginning of this year, we were creating motivational reels on Instagram.
Right.
And we were getting heavily criticized after a point. Ki, how dare you spread toxic positivity? How dare you spread hustle culture? We weren't. Both of us have like come up the hard way. You know, we're both self-made dudes. We've really kind of worked our way to the top, and we're sharing what we've learned over the years. Now, if you are aggressive about reaching the top, there is a certain level of aggression you need at the bottom also. And those were the things we were trying to put out in the world.